Hey creative friends, so we are at Lowe's in the wood section. Alex is picking out some wood for us. We are getting some white wood to be able to cut out the little surfboards. He's getting some of these big pieces so that he can cut out the surfboards. And then we're also going to look for some for our porch leaners. So we get them here because we can get them cheaper. Hobby Lobby, they sell wood this right size for the porch leaners, but between us, they suck. They always have knots that go all the way through, and it's never good wood. I don't know who buys that wood. But so we have to come here to Lowe's and get nicer wood. And he's making sure that the knots that are in them don't go all the way through, and that there aren't chunks missing. And he's getting these bigger pieces here that we're doing because he figures he can get more little surfboards out of them if he cuts them sideways. So now we're gonna look for the ones for our porch leaners, which are the, I think they're 1 by 8 by 4. So 1 inch thick, 8 inches wide, almost 9, and 4 feet tall. So actually we get the bigger ones and he cuts them down because it makes us save like $1 or $2. And when we're doing a bunch of them, it adds up. And not only do we have to, he has to pick them out for me. And then when we get home, he'll cut them and sand them, and then we'll put kills on them, and then they'll be ready to go for you all. So white wood at Lowe's, and the prices are always changing. I never know what they're gonna be. So right now for a 6-foot board is $20. And the other little ones, I think they're $25 for another board. So they're not cheap, but we make it work. Anyways, next time you need it, make sure you come to Lowe's or Home Depot, not Hobby Lobby. Okay, love y'all. See you soon. Okay, so we are where the finishes and stains are. So sometimes we need to use polyacrylic, and that's this stuff right back here. Anyways, it's $14.98 here. It's $10 for the same size as Hobby Lobby. So I guess sometimes Hobby Lobby is better, sometimes Lowe's is better. So I'm looking for kills. See you in a minute. So I found the kills. It is kills number 3. That's what I use on my stuff right there. It was on the other side, but I came over here because there was too many people on that aisle talking. But it cost me it's gonna cost me 16 bucks. And then here you've got the Helmsman spar urethane. That's what you're gonna use to seal your signs, like your any of your door hangers, wood signs, or porch leaners. So it is $14, but it lasts me it lasts me a little bit because I make a lot of stuff, but it would last you a long time. And then maybe you could go in on somebody if you did the party together, so that would work. So Helmsman spar urethane, right there. Okay, so Alex figured this out. We're gonna go ahead and just do our porch leaners a little bit wider, which normally they're like 8, but these are gonna be 10 inches wide, which is really nice because we can't find any in the other ones without too many knots and looking cruddy. See all those knots? They go all the way through, so you don't want your beautiful masterpiece to fall apart. But these are really good price, y'all. These are $20, and we're gonna be able to get 2 out of them. So, and hopefully he'll be able to get the amount that we need. And here's Alex picking out all the nice ones here for us. See, he does so much work for us, y'all. You gotta give him a round of applause. Love you, Alex. See, the little knots are okay, he says. Woo, I'm gonna get run over.
That's 4.
So 4, and he's gonna cut them in half for me. So we'll have 8.
3.
Oh, 3? Oh, and then the one for the little surfboards. Okay, so if you ever have to go pick out your wood, make sure you don't have any of those big old knots, especially if they go all the way through. And sometimes they've got these ones that are like real jinky and messed up. Then you don't want your porch leaner to look all messed up. Here we are on the back porch. Alex has already cut these down for us. These are the boards that we were buying in Lowe's the other day. He's cut them down. He's sanded them really nice all the way around. A lot of people don't do all of the steps that we do. They just buy the wood and here you are, paint on it, go. Alex and I are very giving, and we want to make sure everybody ends up with something beautiful, and we don't want anybody to get splinters in their hands, so we take everything a little bit further. He cuts them, we sand them really, really good, and then clean them off and then put kills on them. So we got the boards. I showed you where you can get the kills yesterday. So you just need your board, the kills. You need one of these little doohickeys, can openers, to make sure you can open your can. And once you get it open, I shaked it really well before opening it. And now we're just going to go ahead and take a brush, and I'm going to brush this on. Now I just use like a number 2 chip brush or a nice bigger paintbrush. However, you could use a roller. I just use one of these brushes here just because I feel like I have more control, and I don't want to make it super thick. You put it super thick, it's a little bit harder to paint on, but I want it to be cover the knots well enough so that they aren't going to show through. Now, Alex has done a great job at picking this wood and finding wood that doesn't have any knots that go all the way through. And if they do have knots, he sanded them so nicely that when I touch them, I don't even feel them. You wouldn't be able to feel them if you had your eyes closed. So, like at all. So this is going to make really good boards. Look, this one's gorgeous. Doesn't even have one knot on it at all. So that's beautiful. But we'll go ahead and paint these up, and I'll show you the process. Now, if you're doing this yourself, you will need a little water to put your brush in if you need to stop for any reason. You'll also need a rag to dry the water off of the brush. So that's what we're doing here. And then I'm just simply getting a little bit of it on my brush. I'm going to take some of it off. I don't want a whole lot on there because, like I said, I don't want this to be real thick. And then we're just going to go ahead and start brushing that on. Now, like I said, it would probably be a lot easier with a roller. It would take you a lot less time. But 2 things, I don't have a roller on me right now, and I don't feel like going to the store. Plus, I feel like I have more control with the brush. And when I do it, too, I make sure that if I do have any little bit of a thicker spot, it's going to be over these knots so that you don't see through and that they don't end up leaching out any tannins, resin, anything like that out to your finished piece that's going to make it yellow and things like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this, and I'll show you when we're done. All right, so I went ahead and I finished putting the kills on all of these. I only put a light coat. However, I made sure wherever there was any knots that I went ahead and filled them in pretty good. So if you could still see the wood, if it was like a hole in it, because it is almost, it is hard to find wood without knots. Alex sits there and digs through piles and piles and piles to sometime only get a few pieces. And when sometimes you have to go to different stores or go back on another day after a new delivery. But what I did is I went ahead and I put the kills on there, and I made sure it soaked into the little spot. So I just put a lot on there and then let it soak into there. Now, it's going to get a little bit on the edges. I don't paint the edges only because, well, on the little things I do, but on big things like this, it's not really, it doesn't really matter because everybody's going to paint the sides of their boards anyways. And they're not going to, that part isn't going to be affected by the sun and everything. It's just the front where you're putting your beautiful design, the welcome or home or whatever it may be. However, it is going to, some of the kills is going to get on the edge here. So you want to make sure that when it does, you're wiping it down with the brush so you don't end up with a hard edge or paint drips, because there's nothing worse than having your board all painted pretty and it has paint drips on the side to make it look real junky. But here we are. They're all done. Now let them dry. Get ready for tomorrow. They're almost dry, actually, because it's pretty hot out here. But you want to make sure you're doing it really in the shade. I didn't have my canopy pulled out far enough by the end. But you really want to kind of have it in the shade. And because if not, it dries too fast and will leave lines and you won't be able to move the paint around. So we've got that on there. It's going to dry. They're ready for tomorrow. Now, just to take them to the paint party and let everybody make their beautiful creations.